Welcome back to Diving Into Watches. This week we're taking a look at a dive watch, but not just any dive watch. This is a highly affordable, well, let me rephrase that. I'm assuming this is a highly affordable watch. I could not find this particular one on Amazon, and I could not find it anywhere else other than on their manufacturer's website. The manufacturer is Welly Merck, which I've done a review on two watches before, their Planet series and their Ocean series, which were both really, really great watches for the value. This one, I could only find information and pricing on Welly Merck's actual website, and it says this watch is $200. Let me preface this with, and no spoiler alerts here. I don't think this is I think if they're selling for 200, it's overpriced, considering the other two that I reviewed. Go back and watch those videos. But also, change for Welly Merck. They no longer call themselves Welly Merck. They just go by WM now, WM Watch Company. And I think that's good because the whole backstory of Welly Merck really wasn't working. The husband and wife created a team. It was a fiction. I think it was a fictional story. I like that they changed the name and just went WM Watches. I think that fits better. They are a Chinese manufacturer. They don't hide it. They are a fashion brand in China that makes not only watches, but clothing and some other things. And they make some fairly decent watches for very affordable prices with good specs. And we'll definitely take a look at this one. And the specs are there. I just don't know if the price tag meets the specs. Full disclosure, this watch was provided to me by Welly Merck. I do not have to return this watch. So therefore, you probably see the little thing up here saying that it's a sponsored video. It's only sponsored in the sense that they provided the watch for free and I don't have to return it, but I am free to say and evaluate and praise or tear down this watch as I see fit. That is my agreement with Welly Merck. Their previous two watches, as I stated, were excellent watches for the price tag. I think the only thing that's going to kick this one in the proverbial growing area is if it is truly $200, because I can't find it anywhere else on their website. If you do see this one, let me know down in the comments if you found it anywhere else. I've looked on Amazon and I can't find it. So I'm not sure if this is a mainstream one of their watches. In one of the recent catalogs they just sent me, I don't even see this watch. And they've come up with some new lineups that I would really like to take a look at that they have. But we're not here to talk about those other watches. We're here to talk about this new watch by WM. This is what the watch looks like. We're gonna get more into it on the bench. So without further ado, let's jump over to the bench and let's take a look at another entry into WM's watches, dive watches, and what this watch hails, and is it worth the price tag or not? Okay, here we are over on the bench taking a closer look at the watch, and at first glance, it's a good-looking watch. Absolutely good-looking watch. You know, it's not any mind-blowing, stellar design that you haven't seen before. It is a good-looking watch. I like the color. There's some things I don't like. We'll hit on. There's some things I do like about it. Before we get into it, though, let's go ahead and knock out the dimensions. It's a case width of 40 millimeters. It is a lug width of 20 millimeters. It is a lug to lug of 46 millimeters. It is a case thickness of 13.15 millimeters. And it is a bracelet. It's just an H-style bracelet or oyster-style bracelet that starts at 20 millimeters and it tapers down to 18 millimeters. Taking a closer look, it states they have a ceramic bezel. It's a green ceramic bezel. You have a green dial that is a textured dial. And then you have the traditional snowflake hands of, say, like a Tudor Pelagos. And then you have these indices that are loomed. And then you have an inner chapter ring that is notched for the looms to sit inside of. And then you have a date window that's white with a white background, the black lettering. And then you have Welly Merck at the top. I'm assuming they're new watches. This will change. It'll just be the WM, like the logo there. And then it says 100 meters, 330 feet automatic. And then you got the snowflake seconds hand, and then the sword hand. And then you've got the minute track along the inside and your traditional timer track along the outside. And then you have the loomed pip. You have nice crown guards. You have a nice knurling, decent knurling on the crown, and then you have a typical oyster style release bracelet. One of the things I didn't like about the bracelet is it it's supposed to lock into place, but it's just it doesn't. There's nothing. It doesn't really hold. It doesn't really clasp down very well. So then it's a friction pull apart, friction clip in there off of this right here. It is a milled link. It is a milled in link. It looks like it's steel, and then it's got some kind of chrome plating on it, and it does have a diver's extension, a small one right here that locks in. You can flip it back over, and then it locks in. Oops, let me see if I get it to go back. Now I probably won't be able to get it to do it. There it goes, now locked in. And you have a small diver's extension. And then on the back, you have a exhibition case back. This one has a Miyota 8015 movement in it. So just basically like an NH35, a very inexpensive, reliable movement. We'll put it on the Timegrapher and take a look. But you got stainless steel, waterproof, 100 atmospheres, 10 atmospheres, water resistant, sapphire glass, automatic, and then you've got the basic Miyota movement. Nothing fancy to look at. I don't think it needed an exhibition case back because there's really nothing fancy about an 8015 movement by Miyota. It's just the same as an NH35. I think you could have done without it, but you know, it adds a little bit to it. And then you've got milled and then you've got solid end links here. They're milled, and then it just sits right in there in a nice clasp, and it feels comfortable. The bezel action is very, very nice. It's very tactile, very firm. It's not sticky. It's not heavy. It doesn't grasp. It's clean. It's very, very nice. It is 120 click unidirectional bezel. QC. I'm going to do it right here. Right there. One click over. It's just a little off. The other watch, there was a dive watch. The QC was right on. Again, I think that's why I'm having a hard time with the price on this watch for what they're asking for it compared to the other two watches. I'm just not seeing it. The inner chapter ring appears to be plastic, not an aluminum, not a metal one, which is not a bad thing. But if it was reflected in the price, I would say it's no big deal. But when you're going to go with QC issue, a Miyota 8015, a plastic chapter ring, some copy of the Tudor snowflake hands, and then you're going to say this is a $200 watch, no way. There's definitely some watches out there that are Chinese manufacturers that are better on the QC, etc., that don't have that. They're in that $200 price tag that I think you're going to get a lot more for as far as the movement. The end links, I'm sorry, not the end links, but it is screw in. Now this is nice. It is screw in pins for the adjustments on the bracelet. So you're gonna use a screwdriver to unscrew those, and I've got this down all the way down for my 6 1/4. So that is a nice part of the watch that they have, is that instead of the typical friction pin or pin and collar, you actually have screw in pins for the bracelet. The watch itself is a brushed stainless steel. The case is brushed, the sides are brushed. The bracelet is all brushed, but the sides are polished. And then the back of the watch is brushed, and then again an exhibition case back, and then the clasp here is polished. And then it clasps in. And I'll make sure to have some wrist shots. But you can see it's not holding very well. And that's not just Welly Merck. There's a lot of watches out there that do that. You can fix that by just taking a pair of pliers with cloth over it and just kind of just bending these sides in a little bit. I'll see if I can even do it by hand. And then it'll, yeah, see, I think that's, no. You got to take some pliers and you can bend it in and make it sit nice. But overall, it's a nice looking watch. I think if the price tag was more in line, I would give it 2 thumbs up instead of a 1 thumb up and a 1/4 of a thumb, just because I think it's lacking in some QC and some finer details. Let's go ahead and flip off the light. We'll get a Loom shot, take a look at the Loom. I couldn't find anywhere it talked about the Loom. I think it's super Lumibright, but we'll double check. We'll see how the Loom looks. So just hang on 1 second. Okay, there is the Loom. You can see that the bezel is loomed, the hands are loomed, and then the second hand is loomed. The indices are loomed, but they're not bright at all. Let me hit it again with the. Let me see if I have my other light here. See if we can hit it with this one. Hit it with this one. See if we can charge up a little bit better. Yeah, see the hands and the bezel are loom, which is really nice, but the indices, there's really no loom on them, which I hate to use the word, but that sucks. Depending on the watch, I'm all about the loom or I'm not all about the loom. When it comes to dive watch, I'm all about the loom because you're going to be wearing this in dark places underwater or in dark places, depending on what you do for a living. You're going to need to see those numbers. You can obviously still tell the time based on where the hands and the seconds are, but those indices not looming, that sucks. I do like that the bezel loomed. It's very, very interesting. You know, it reminds me of a watch that I'm wearing right now, which you can see as I have my Tudor on. And what do you notice there, folks? A little bit of a, other than here, a little bit of a Tudor feel there in the hands, the snowflake hands, the indices, the square indices. I'll turn the lights on so you can see it even more. Yeah, I actually just noticed it when I was hitting with the loom. You can see that the indices where they got their inspiration from, you can see the hands inspiration from, and then the loomed bezel, but obviously this is not the same as a Tudor, but you can see where they drew some of their inspiration from. I wouldn't say it's a clomage because he's obviously changed some things, but you can definitely see that they drew some inspiration from the Tudor Pelagos in the design of this watch. So that's the loom. Let's go ahead and throw it on the Timegrapher, see how the movement's doing. I'm expecting it to be within the normal parameters of an NH35. So stand by. Here's our first one, +1. Second test, +4. Got an amplitude of 264, beat error 0.2. That's perfectly fine. Everything's very tight through here. Number 3 is +2. And number 4, we're running at 21,000 VPH, variations per hour. And number 4 is 0. So overall, it's saying, 0 seconds per day deviation, which again is very, very good for Miyota. I'm going to let it run one more time. You got 0. Second test, 0. Third test, 0. And the fourth and final test, you have to see a little bit. This is where your beat error is coming in right in here. That's not a huge thing. And then you got +7. So overall, I mean, it says +7, but you got 0, 0, 0, and +4, and I literally just wound it up and put it on the Timegrapher. So I'm not going to give a hard time. That is very, very good, very, very within parameters. Let me go ahead and take it off the Timegrapher. So there it was on the Timegrapher. So overall, I think it's perfectly fine. I don't have any issues with how it's running on the Timegrapher at all. I think that's really good for Miyota 2015 or 2018. I think it's 2015. But let me go ahead and give some wrist shots. Before I do, obviously I have my Tudor Pelagos on today. I have it on the Watches of Espionage and Alpha Zulu collaboration with the French Special Forces. Zulu Alpha strap here. This thing is absolutely killer. I love this thing. It's just gorgeous. It fits comfortable on a single pass through strap. Go check out Watches of Espionage and see the write up on this and why they designed this watch and the history of it. I think it's really, really cool. Okay, there it is on my 6¼ inch wrist. It fits comfortably. It's very, very comfortable, very, very light. Absolutely no complaints. I think it looks really good on the wrist. I think it's a really decent watch overall. Again, my only thing is the price. I just don't know if the quality and the QC and really warrants $200. I don't think this is a $200 watch compared to the other two Welly WM watches I reviewed. Go check out those reviews. But obviously, it looks really good. You can see by all the pictures, the wrist shots, outside shots. I think it's a great watch. I don't think you can go wrong if you can find one on the secondary market, or if you can find this one in that $100, no more than $125 range. I would think if I was, I think that's the right range for it. So without further ado, let's go back over and I'll wrap it up and I'll give you my final review, my final thoughts on the dive watch by WM Welly Merck and its coolness and its deficiencies. All right, folks, there you go. There is the final, there is the review of the Welly Merck or WM watches dive watch. Kind of a Tudor-inspired watch, not a clomage, but they definitely drew some inspiration from it when they made that one. Overall, I think it's a nice watch. I think it's a decent watch. I guess my only complaint would be the price. Hey, Welly Merck, if you're watching this, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it $200 from your website? It's a $200 watch. If it's somewhere else and it's lesser, or there's a discount code or something, let me know. I'll put it on the comments. I'll put it down. I'll obviously put it down in the comments, or I'll put it in the info. But from what I could see from their website, the only place I could find it if you wanted to buy this watch was from WM's website, and it was listed at $200. I just don't personally think it's a $200 watch for the reasons I indicated. But overall, I think it's a good watch, especially when I compare it to the Planet series and the other dive watch that I reviewed. This one's a distant third. Those two watches were really good, considering the Planet series was a 4 hertz movement that was phenomenal. It was a good looking case. It was interesting. It was creative. And then the dive watch with the 8015 or 8215, I can't remember the Miyota movement in it, but you know, it had the helium release valve. The finish was nicer. The QC was better. The dial, everything about it was much more original, much more thought of. Where this one kind of tends to be, seems like a little lesser material and a little more of a copy or a draw from a Tudor Pelago style watch. But based on that, I still think it's a good watch. I just don't think it's at this price tag. So is it a recommend? Yeah, if you can get it in that $125 range, absolutely. At $200, I can't endorse it at $200. I think it's just a little too high, considering other Chinese manufacturers out there and what you can get in that $200 price range. I think you can get a better quality, spec-wise, maybe a little bit, but maybe movement, but definitely a better quality QC and dial stuff from some Chinese manufacturers out there. But definitely go check out Welly Merck. Check them out. Check out their watches. Overall, I think they've got a lot of great watches. Again, check out the 2 reviews I've done on them. As always, thank you for watching. It's the people that watch this channel that make it grow. I can't grow the channel without you, and we continue to grow. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, because that's what tells the algorithm to push it out to more people that are like-minded like you, that like watch reviews. If there's any kind of watches you want me to do a review of, let me know. We got more watch reviews coming as always. Thank you again for watching. It means everything to me. And again, as I said, I can't do it without you guys, and you guys are the ones that make me do it every day. I love the comments, love having chats with you. So as always, be safe, do the right thing, be kind to others, because you don't know the battles they're fighting. Have a great weekend, stay safe. Until next time, I'm diving into watches, and I'm out.